Hey, this is Blake Williams with Super Inspector and the Inspector Training Group. And so today we're going to be looking at a shower. So the things we're going to be looking at are the enclosure, the supply fixtures, and the drains. So first thing we do is take a look at the enclosure. So this is an older shower from a house built in the 1970s. And so we're going to be looking at the condition of the tile. I noticed right away that we've got some separation on this corner on the outside here, so we're going to be reporting that. We're going to look all around the enclosure for evidence of leakage, okay? So as we look at the outside of this enclosure, I do see some fungal growth in the grout lines along here. That may indicate that the shower pan has leaked at one point. It could just be surface growth that's from moisture absorbing into the grout. We're also going to look on the other sides of the wall. We're looking for, again, evidence of any kind of leakage. So is there any moisture damage on the baseboards adjacent to the shower? Everything looks good. Now we want to check the door, make sure that it opens and closes and latches properly, that we have water seal. So we've got the rubber seal here. Latch is good. Check the seal all the way around. This actually looks like they put a new door on fairly recently, and everything looks in good condition. There's no corrosion around the bottom. Sometimes water will get in around the bottom here where the seal is not sealed good, and you'll start to see corrosion forming on the outside of the door. Now we're going to step inside. What I do when I step inside the shower is I want to make sure that I don't detect any loose tiles or anything. I may take my flashlight and do some tapping. You see these tiles sound kind of hollow. You want to push on the wall and make sure there's no loose tiles. It's common to find them at the bottom of these fixtures where the fixture might be leaking and causing the tiles to delaminate coming off the wall. These feel okay. Now we've got some separation in the caulk in the corner here, which is relatively common, but that does need to be reported and sealed up. We're also looking for fungal growth here. We see a little bit around the bottom right here. This isn't caulked very good, so we might report that as poor workmanship and recommend that the caulk be scraped out and resealed. And you can see the separation here. Again, we get some expansion and contraction here causing these joints to separate, and so that all needs to be resealed. We've got some loose grout here. Grout coming out of the wall. So this is potential for moisture penetration in behind these tiles, which will cause damage and cause the tiles to delaminate. You can see where the grout has been coming out there. Got a little piece here. The tiles don't appear to be loose at this point, which is good. But all this is going to need to be regrouted, resealed, which can be expensive, but they're going to need to get a tile man out here to look at that. Now we want to take a look at these fixtures. Are they sealed tightly to the enclosure to make sure water's not leaking in behind there? So these are pretty tight, nice and sealed. We've got the escutcheon here is tight to the wall and it's secure, so that looks good. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to test the shower pan by filling it with water. That'll allow us to test the fixture at the same time. Now we use, to test the shower pan, we're going to block the drain. We're going to fill it with about 2 inches of water, and we're going to let it sit. So we have a makeshift tool that we made here. This is just a plumbing connector, a drain connector, and so this is going to sit down around the drain, and it's got holes drilled in it. So this will allow the water to fill up to the bottom of these holes and then go back down into the drain. This is to prevent the shower pan from overflowing when the inspector accidentally leaves it unattended and forgets that it's filling up. This has happened to many inspectors, so you want to have a means of being able to fill up the pan without having to stand there and wait on it, and you don't ever want to leave running water unattended. So this attends to the running water. So we're going to drop this right here, and then we're going to turn the water on. That I noted here is that the hot and cold orientation is not set up properly, it's not labeled properly. The handle turns to the right and it gets hotter as the further right you go, but the label on it indicates that the hot is to the left. So this is incorrect orientation. This can be easily fixed by a plumber. Usually they can just flip around the diaphragm cartridge inside there if that fixture is equipped that way. Otherwise, it may not be worth fixing, but we do need to report that in our report. So while this is filling, we're going to look at the fixtures and make sure we don't see any leakage from the fixtures during operation. You can see we've got some leakage right here coming off this fixture. It's not a big deal, but it's something that we would certainly report. So now we've let water stand in the shower pan for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you can do it longer, but that should be sufficient. And we're going to look for any evidence of leakage. So we're looking around the bottom of this for any water that might be coming out anywhere. And I'm going to check it with my infrared camera to see if we see any evidence of leakage around. And you can see we've got some heat there. That's just from the hot water pipe. So we were running hot water through there. See, that goes up into the attic. Everything looks good there. We are going to walk outside to see if there's any leakage coming out from the brick on the outside wall. So we're here at the outside wall opposite of the shower that we're inspecting, and what we're looking for is any water after we fill up the shower pan and let it sit for a while, any water that might be leaking out of the wall, which would indicate that the shower pan is leaking or possibly another plumbing leak. And so as we look down here, you can see we've got water leaking out of the wall all along here. You can see where it was running down and has gotten the wall wet down all along here outside the shower. So this indicates to me that the shower pan has been leaking. It's always a good idea after you test plumbing to walk around the house and look for water coming out of the brick veneer, which indicates a leak. And we did find that here. And so we're going to report that. That is going to be an issue. The shower pan is going to have to be deconstructed and demolished and redone. So we'll report that to our clients. And so in summary, when you're looking at a shower enclosure, the main thing you're looking for is leaks. And in this shower enclosure, we found problems with the grout, problems with the shower pan leaking right here. And so this shower is going to need a lot of work. And so we're going to make sure that our client has a clear expectation of that, and also let them know that there's possible hidden damage here, that when they start to deconstruct this shower enclosure or demolish this shower enclosure to redo it, they're likely going to find moisture damage behind the wall, as well as possible termite damage, which is very common in this area. So set that expectation up front. Don't tell them that there is moisture damage, but let them know that there's a possibility of that. Otherwise, you're going to get a phone call when they pull this open and they find fungal growth, termite damage, water damage, and they're going to be wondering why their inspector didn't tell them about this. Understanding that these things are obstructed and inaccessible and you can't really report on them, but why have the problem? Just set the expectation right up front. Hey, there's going to be possible hidden damage here. You need to be aware of that, and it's not uncommon, especially in a house built in the 70s. Again, that's Blake Williams with the Inspector Training Group and Super Inspector, and as always, be super.